I had a purpose before everybody had an opinion.
The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out.
You want Philly?
Chase Utley, you are the man.
You come out backyard and you try to start something, you always get your butt kicked.
The prayers have been answered.
How about those Eagles, baby?
And Rio Muto can run for days.
Can you feel what's about to happen on this field, man?
A perfect game. Roy Halladay has thrown the second perfect game in Philadelphia Phillies history.
All right, we are back with another Philly Talk episode. Hopefully no audio issues like last time. Apologize for that. This one gonna be relatively short. I know I was saying that hopefully we'll get back to that sort of good, bad, looking forward sort of style, but this one likely gonna be a quick one just because under some time constraints and all that. But basically what we're looking at, is this past week, of the NFL. And obviously, the Eagles and the way they played. Obviously, the big thing was, of course, we won against the Giants as we should have. Was a lot closer of a game than it needed to be, But it was still a pretty good game from different sort of perspectives. Like, the big one was Devontae Smith. He had himself a game. And not only did he have himself a game, but he ended up getting 1,000 receiving yards on the year now, and that's the second year in a row I believe he's done it. So, real great stuff from him. Jalen looked good at times, but there was other times where, he obviously struggled. I know the big one was obviously that one pass that I think it deflected off of Goddard and it got picked off, I think it was. I can't remember for sure. DeAndre Swift was really good on the day, 92 yards, a touchdown. Kenneth Gainwell had 41 yards rushing plus 38 receiving. He had some real good plays. A.J. Brown, 80 yards on the day. Devontae Smith, 79 yards and a touchdown on the day. Dallas Goedert, 71 yards. Goddard was really useful in that safety net type role and also just, getting things open, which is, real good. Glad to have him, back, and I know there was that play, and a lot of people were putting the fault on him, but after, reviewing it and all that, and, the announcers made note of it, too, it wasn't Zacchaeus' fault for the fumble on the kick return, he got, pushed into the guy, basically, but you gotta shout him out for that blocking on that Devontae Smith touchdown. That was absolutely beautiful. It's not to put anybody else down, especially to elevate another guy, but when you look at a lot of other receivers in the game who don't commit to blocks that much, it's you got to show love to a guy like that who's, puts it all out there for his other teammate. Defensively, obviously Keely Ringo got his first career interception. That's been pretty good the past two games. Man, a lot of people are looking to him for starting, basically. They want him to start over certain other guys. I can see it. I just want to see a little bit more. It's not to, discredit anything because he's looked pretty good aside from that one play where he got, the two flags at the same time, But other than that, he's done a real good job of defending, and not allowing a lot of yardage, Shaq Leonard did pretty good this game, had 7 total tackles. He had a QB hit. Obviously, he had the lone sack on the day for our defense. Looking pretty good, looking to get back into form, hopefully. Reed Blankenship, 6 tackles on the day. Basically, wasn't a whole lot from the defense as far as sacks, but they did a good job holding up at times. There was some times obviously where they struggled, but they were holding out at times. Hassan Reddick had that big tackle for a loss on 4th down on Saquon. That was real good, but for the most part, it was just fairly decent. They were looking really good in that first half. And then the second half, I don't know what it is. They just allowed the Giants to start sort of like inching closer and closer. But obviously they took it out of their hands. They got ahead. They kept scoring, and they did pretty good for the most part. The play calling in this game was really weird. Like I'm still kind of confused on that play to end the half, where like I understand them calling a delay of game because the players were like holding up the ball and all that, but I don't understand. Oh, sorry, I don't understand why the clock was stopped. Because I didn't hear if they had accepted the penalty, if they had declined it. But that was real confusing. The false start one was really confusing because they blamed it on the New York center, but it wasn't the center. Like all the center did was kind of like have a motion with his head, but it was like I think it was the left tackle. I don't know, but that one was really weird. I don't know. There was like a lot of weird play calls. Really weird officiating game, and it's kind of odd to see some of the calls that were happening in this game. Obviously, the other news is, the good news for the Eagles fans is that the Niners lost against the Ravens, who are looking crazy good. The Cowboys lost against Miami, and Detroit won. We need Detroit to win again next week because I think they're playing the Cowboys. And obviously, we need to win out. I don't know. It's weird looking at this team schedule and, being like, well, we should win out. But then you have games like this where they just keep it close for no reason at all. I mean, it wasn't even really super close for the most part because at one point it was 30-18. But then, they were just letting the Giants, do whatever, like they were letting Tyrod Taylor look good out there, but it's whatever, just looking forward, obviously just got to beat the Cardinals and Giants again, no doubt about it. Sorry, I just woke up a couple, like an hour ago or something, but basically, they got to beat the Cardinals, they got to beat the Giants, and it's the fact that they don't even control their own destiny really anymore because there's so much that they have to rely upon that includes Dallas and the Niners losing, like I think the Niners have to lose one more game and Dallas pretty much has to lose out, I think is what it is, but it's really on them, for not playing better in games that they should have, like with the Niners losing yesterday, it just solidifies even more that we shouldn't have lost to Seattle. It's still dumbfounding how they found a way to lose to Seattle. But, I mean, is it really surprising when you look at the records from the past couple of years and see that we haven't beat them in years, so, but, yeah, like I said, it's on them for losing. Sorry, it's on them for losing the games that they did, and I don't know, man. This is the weirdest 11-4 team I've ever seen because so much of this team just seems off, and no one can tell you why. Like maybe it's the media putting things in people's head, making things seem worse than they are, but like there's just I don't know what it is. There's so much weird like vibes around this team where it's like even on like how we've kept saying throughout this entire season, even in the games that they win, it almost doesn't feel like a win because of how close it is, and it's not even like that feeling of, oh man, we won a close game. It's like so many times we left the game just like we shouldn't have won that and yet we did, and I don't know, like I guess it's because you compare it to last season where they were just winning games, blowing out different teams, and now these games are a lot closer, but also it's not even just that. At least to me, the thing with me is just the fact that the amount of mistakes they make in these different games is like the concerning part to me, like a lot of people kind of get upset when you sort of like have this mindset, but like it's kind of tough to believe in this team even at 11-4 when you see all the mistakes they've made throughout this season. You know, all the different turnovers, all the different, you know, play calling issues, all the different coaching issues as a whole. You know, it's concerning, and it makes you kind of question just how far is this team gonna go. You know, that's basically just the mindset with it all, because it's like, I don't know, you know, what do you make of the different sort of scenes that you're seeing play out on the sideline between players and coaches. You know, you have the whole thing with Hassan Reddick, with Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, you know, all these different guys. You know, it just doesn't seem right. You know, like, especially you look at a lot of the post game interviews that happened yesterday, and it's like, you would have thought they lost. You know, and hey, good on them for not being content with the win. You know, not being content with, hey, we got out of there with the win. It's like they want to have these more reassuring wins, these wins that, you know, show their dominance, rather than these close wins where it causes questions to arise about, you know, their play. But at the same time, you know, you just kind of look at it and you're just like, are we overreacting? Is the media overreacting? Or, you know, is it a situation of, well, if there's smoke, there's fire, you know? Because, I don't know, at this point, it's the whole coaching thing, you know? Like, people kind of keep looking to one person to blame, but to me, it's like, I look at that whole coaching staff, and I was telling my cousin yesterday, I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if they did a whole overhaul of the coaching staff at this point, you know, where even it could be a situation like the Bears a couple years ago, where, you know, they went was it 10-6 back, you know, before they added the extra game. I don't remember, but it was when they had I can't remember the coach's name, but he basically won coach of the year, and then they fired him after that year, I think it was. I was like telling my cousin, like, I can expect something similar, where even if Sirianni gets him to like a good record, like let's say he wins out the final games and gets them to 13-4, if they lose at the first opportunity, whether that be in the wild card, the divisional, you know, I could easily see, you know, Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie kind of looking at the situations that have been playing out and just being like, something needs to change. And, you know, maybe they give Sirianni one more year. Maybe they say, maybe they try and, you know, in a sense, scapegoat the coordinators and be like, well, let's get Desai out of here. Let's get Brian Johnson out of here. Let's get certain other positional coaches out of here. You know, let's bring in some new blood and see what happens with Sirianni afterwards. But I could also see a scenario where it's like they don't try and scapegoat a single person and just be like, hey, you did great for us in the years we had you, but we need to try something new. So we need a whole new scheme. So we need a whole new coach, new coordinators, this and that, you know. Because, I don't know, the coaching this season, it's just wildly different than last season's, you know. Like, defensively, you know, it's still pretty much the same. Like, people kind of think of Gannon differently, but it's like Gannon and Desai are like one and the same, where it was like their defenses had, you know, certain performances where they flashed through, but for the most part, the defense was always, you know, kind of struggling in games a bit. Now, the only difference between Gannon's defense and Desai's defense is the fact that, you know, with Gannon, they at least got more pressure, which resulted in a ton more sacks, you know. But as far as, you know, defensive wise, like from the games I remember watching, it was like you still saw sort of the similar struggles, you know, especially like, you know, towards the back end of the defense. And offensively wise, it's just night and day, you know. People probably are going to get super tired of me of just continuing to talk, but like Shane Steichen, man, it just sucks to see him go, because he really just brought life to this offense, you know, whether it was it's just night and day the difference, you know. Especially you see it in the way Jalen Hurts plays, where you're just like, you can tell he's missing something. Sorry, you could tell he's missing just something there to help him and all that. And a lot of the offense, like I keep saying it, the offense is pretty much the same compared to last year, Only thing that changed is the coordinator and perhaps the scheme, but like I don't know, it's a whole thing where it's just like they need a lot more help coaching wise. Like you have all the talent there. Something's gotta be done about something has to be done about the coaching first and foremost, But to not be too pessimistic, I still look forward to what this team will bring in the next 2 weeks, and come playoff time, I hope they figure it out. I think was it Brandon Graham, or no, it might have been Devontae Smith. Someone on the team in their post game interview was basically saying, that like they weren't content with what happened, and they basically said like, these issues have been happening the whole season. We only got 2 weeks to figure it out. Issues that should have been solved. It's now like on a like sort of like the way he was saying it. They're kind of like on a hard deadline at this point where it's like you got 2 weeks to figure this out because you can't be making a lot of these mistakes come playoff time, because playoffs are different, and unlike in games like this where we found the way to luck out, playoff football is unforgiving, man. You make those same mistakes in the playoffs and you're almost guaranteed to lose at that point. But still looking forward to this team, looking forward to what they bring, and just got to remain hopeful that things sort of change and that these guys just do their best to work together and hold themselves accountable, hold the coaching holds themselves accountable, and they just come together to figure out what is going on, what changes need to be made, and go from there. But until then, just got to keep hoping for the best with this team. Just win out, That's all I can really say is just win out.